Thank you for joining us today. We're thrilled to welcome you to the first program in our Judaica Project lecture series. In these monthly Zoom sessions on Judaica, Jewish art, and what these mean to you, our speakers will present a different type of or topic related to Judaica or Jewish art in order to prompt discussion with and among the audience. Attendees will be invited to ask questions and share their own experiences. And this series is made possible by a generous grant from the Jewish Federation of Greater New Haven. This afternoon, Rabbi Reena Judd is going to share her Jewish Box project with us. Rabbi Judd has been the campus rabbi and director of the Peter C. Hereld House for Jewish Life at Quinnipiac University since 2005. She is an avid Judaica thrifter and collector whose home is filled with vibrant art of all kinds. Welcome, Rabbi
Thank you for
Judd.
having me, Jake. I'm thrilled to be here.
So tell us, what exactly are Jewish boxes?
So Jewish boxes are boxes that I give to my graduating seniors who are flying out into the world for their own. And it's a box. This is an example. This is a box. All of my Jewbox stuff is thrifted or donated. So this is the box that I got from the Salvation Army, and it just happened to have this beautiful Hebrew writing on it, and I won't give it away, but it's an example to use for a project like this one. And I get the box and I fill it with everything that a young person needs to start their own Jewish home.
Okay.
Candlesticks. Now, traditionally, the young woman would like the candlesticks, but if there is no young woman, the young man is still obligated. So all of this in this time of the right way to say the things was a political correctness. All of my stuff is gender neutral.
Okay.
It's just Jewish.
Okay.
Candlesticks.
Right.
And I have a Kiddush cup, which I generally get a Kiddush cup. I try to find a Kiddush cup, but when I can't find a Kiddush cup, I'll just find a nice kind of goblet. And I have a challah cover. With this, oh, no, not there yet. But this is a challah cover, and it's for, I'm sorry, I'm showing it that way. It's for chalot during Shabbat and also during a Chag, a holiday.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
And then I'll give as much more as I have. So this is a little menorah, a Chanukiah.
Okay.
And I'll give this with a box of little birthday candles so the kids know. And I Xerox the prayers.
Right.
And I'll give that in the box. And then for each, I individualize each box by picking a book of one of their hobbies, and this is I want to read it.
Oh yeah.
It's the Jewish woman. So for one of my more feministically inclined students, I would give this book and I would inscribe it. And I put it all in the box, and then the last Shabbat of our year before the kids graduate, I call up each student, I give them the box. I've started to invite their parents.
Right.
So it's quite a lovely emotional experience.
And that's excellent.
And yeah.
So I want to, because I think this is just wild. So I want to make sure everybody sees this very unique box. So this is actually a faux book that is like it was like a Pier 1 product or something.
And it was 49 cents.
And it is it's high holiday themed. So it says the Book of Life, and it has "May you be inscribed for a happy and healthy new year."
I also give them a Torah, a chumash, so
so a chumash and a
book.
kind of something
personal,
scriptural and something educational,
something Jewish,
right,
and all of the Judaica fits in the box, so they can take it with them through the rest of their life, and when their family goes to there, they can pass it on from one generation to the other. And I love it. It's my favorite project.
That's a really cool project. So how did you like how or when did you start creating these Jewish boxes?
So I've been rabbiing for 30 years. And I've been at Quinnipiac for almost 20 years. And in the generation that I've been there, the population of Jewish students has changed dramatically.
Okay.
Most of my Jewish students come from intermarried homes
Mhm.
where one set of grandparents is the Jewish set of grandparents,
Mhm.
and that's their primary Jewish. And I'm sorry if I'm looking in the wrong place.
No, it's
Should
okay.
I look there?
No,
or here?
we're having a conversation.
So most of my students come from homes where their Jewish grandparents sat
Mhm.
is their primary Jewish experience.
Okay.
So they're one of cousins.
Right.
So most of these kids don't have their own. Most of my kids did not get bat mitzvah
Right.
or bar mitzvah.
Right.
So they didn't get their bar mitzvah cup or they didn't get their bat mitzvah candlesticks.
Right.
So they don't have a starting point of their own.
Right.
And they kept, and I would, send them out, well, you got to do Shabbat, well, you got to do Shabbat. And they'd be like, but Rabbi, I don't have anything to do Shabbat with.
Okay.
And that was how I started the project.
Okay.
And it's been, wow, 11 years now that every kid who comes through the Hereld House
Okay.
leaves with a box so that they ask.
Right.
And they want, it's like, Rabbi, you're gonna give me my box, right? I'm
Right.
like, I'm making your box, I'm making your box.
Okay, so your Hillel students, they know about it.
They know about it.
Or, I'm sorry, not Hillel, but the
That's
Jewish
okay.
Center students know about it and they are excited about it. That's
They're
wonderful.
thrilled. And they really like when I get Judaica from somebody or a store and it's got an inscription
Okay.
of someone nobody knows.
Okay.
But it's just like they're keeping the life of the piece itself
Right.
alive. Like first it went to Shmuel, and now it's going to David, and they're gonna keep it full of the wine of life. And
Right.
they like that. That makes them smirk and smile.
Right. So there's a story and
There's stories,
a continued story to
the
items that
objects
you're
themselves.
giving them. So
And wait a second,
yeah.
some of them will use these sets when they go and get married if they have Jewish marriages. Like
Right.
they'll use that cup for their under the chuppah, and that just warms them.
Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So
What's really best is when I do the wedding and then they have the Kiddush cup that I gave them when they graduated.
have you done many
Yeah.
weddings for your
I've done-
Jewish students from Quinnipiac?
I've done enough Jewish weddings of Jewish students who were marrying other Jews. The
Okay.
Kiddush cup is there, and then some of the kids, they'll have the kid, like one family in particular, they had the Kiddush cup at their wedding,
Okay.
and then they had the Kiddush cup at their first son's bris.
My
And
gosh.
that, I was like when you throw the football and it goes in the touchdown and then it goes through the 2 point.
Right.
That was like
That is amazing. So you gave these to your seniors.
and give them yep.
So how many do you typically create and give away in a year?
Well, okay. So before COVID,
Mhm.
I would have like between around 7.
Okay.
And then COVID blew it all apart.
Right.
And now when we're putting it back together again, I
Okay.
had 11 Jewish boxes last year
Okay.
and 2 non-Jewish boxes because the Jewish students
Right.
bring their friends.
Right.
They don't have to be Jewish. They just have to be human beings.
Right.
And so I had this friend group of about 12 kids.
Okay.
And they all passed through, of whom 6 or so were Jewish.
Right.
And the remainder weren't Jewish. They were like, Rabbi, but I want my Shabbos box too.
Okay.
And so I made them a Shabbos box. And I had the transliterations. And
Right.
then for their book, they got one, either both Bibles,
Right.
because my ultimate goal is that they, whatever,
Okay.
but then I got them a comparative religions book.
Okay, very cool.
They had one kid whose parents was there and the kid's mother, and this one was Greek Orthodox. And she was
Right.
like, so
That's so cool.
it was very cool. It was very cool. They brought me a big gown. So the kid got got 2 bucks. They brought me the big gown of Manischewitz.
That's hilarious.
Thank you, President.
That's amazing.
It was good.
So I mean 7, 11 seniors, that's
11
I mean that's a
seniors.
lot.
It was my best year yet.
So if you're having like
I
around
get
10 seniors
27 to 35 kids a Shabbat.
for a normal Shabbat,
Average Shabbat. 5 to 6. Every Friday school's in session.
that, I mean, for a university the size of Quinnipiac, like 20 to 30 people at a normal Hillel Shabbat is like a lot of people.
A lot of kids.
That's amazing.
They're starving.
Well, I mean, that makes
No,
sense.
no. They're so
they're starving
hungry for something to hold on to. They don't have anything to hold on to but their phones. And I make them put their phones down because nothing on the internet is better than me.
So
For
what
sure.
is a typical Shabbat like at Quinnipiac?
Okay, so we come in and we have 5 o'clock, 5:10. We all sit in a big circle and we light Shabbat. A student will light Shabbat, and we all join in. And then I go around and then I ask, and I have it all written on the whiteboard.
Okay.
What was the best part of your week?
Mhm.
And we go around, and they're very respectful and very participatory. They don't bust chops. They never bust chops, and they don't smirk and giggle. When a kid is sharing, it's pretty quiet. It's really quiet. And then we light Kiddush, and I explain this each way we go along, because my biggest fear is that they're going to go for 4 years at the Hereld House and not know what they're doing.
Of course.
So we go, and then we do Kiddush and we sanctify it.
Okay.
And then what was the most challenging part of your week?
Okay.
And we start the same way so that the last kid isn't the first. It's only, and they answer, and then if they want a mishperach, we do a mishperach, and you don't have to be Jewish, you just have to be sick.
Okay.
And then if they want a Kaddish, we do a Kaddish, and we don't have to be Jewish, they just have to be dead. Then we do a hamotzi,
Okay.
and we go around, and then by the time we're done saying the hamotzi, the food is down.
Okay.
And then they eat, talk, But I will say, in this time of gun violence,
right.
if there's been an episode of gun violence, we start the sharing off with something that addresses that, because that's never not in the room.
Right. Right. I think you said you asked them kind of like, how are you
How you
this
doing?
week? Yeah.
Yeah, there was a time last year where there were 2 gun-violent episodes in 1 week,
Okay.
and we started, even before candles, we started with, "You guys okay?"
Yeah.
Because everybody talks about it, but nobody sits down and addresses it.
Right.
And they're terrified, they're scared, they're just scared. There's nothing to hold on to. Even for the kids that went to after school Hebrew school during COVID, even that was
Right.
canceled. So they don't have that base of understanding.
Okay.
And yeah,
Really interesting.
it is.
Okay.
And they're really interesting answers. They talk about every single thing, and they feel very comfortable with one another,
Okay.
talking about everything from gun violence to roofies, which before you were like, I learned what that was when I was a kid, they were called Mickeys. And to hear how the kids feel about their peers. Like, one kid opened one Shabbat with, "I was roofied last weekend, and I'm scared because a week ago tonight I was at the bar." And the kids were like, "Well, you can come and hang out with me at 8:13 when she went to," and they're wonderful. They're humane, they're kind, give you faith, keeps you faith.
Yeah. That's wonderful. Well, it's wonderful to hear that you have such an active Hillel and that it seems like it's so helpful for the students.
Thank you. I hope so.
So to get back to the Jewish boxes in Judaica a little bit, so you talked a little bit about what the significance of receiving these boxes is to the seniors who receive them, both the Jewish and non-Jewish students. So what does it mean for you? Like what does this project kind of mean for you, or thrifting the Judaica, and what's the significance of that for you?
Well, when I started to become aware of truly my emotional attachment to Judaica objects. It's like they have their own life.
Right.
They're all art.
Right.
Even standard or manufactured ones, they're still art. And if I don't buy these pieces at Salvation Army,
Right.
they go to the junk.
Right.
And I can't cope with that. I just like I have anxiety over that. Like all the Jews that held this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
They're dead. They left.
Yeah. So what do you think is the significance, either personally for you or even on like a theological or social level, of diverting Judaica from landfills and or from an otherwise unsupported fate?
Um, it's my passion. It's an
Okay.
extension of my rabbinate,
Okay.
and it's one of the ways I come from a home where art was held to the utmost esteem.
Right.
And I very much believe that everything is an artistic opportunity. And it's a way that I've really, the man or the woman, probably the guy, who made the mold for this was just so into it. And he felt so good when he finished it. And the Yiddishkeit of that is still alive. It's still in the atmosphere. It hasn't dissipated because he's dead. And for it to be nowhere, if someone doesn't hold it, it's gonna go to the dump. And I have no issues with being a hoarder of Jewish, and in my own way I am, because I have too much for my house. And that's how the project started.
Right.
Because I ended up buying every single thing I could see at the estate sales or the tag sales or Goodwills or whatever. I buy even the yucky stuff made in China at the right age for 75%.
Right.
Was I just didn't want to see it end. There's some Jewish soul in it, not a human soul, and it's not that I'm equating its worth the humanity that went into it, but too many Jews have been killed because they loved it too.
Absolutely. So something that we've talked about before that hasn't yet come up today is taking objects that aren't necessarily Judaica, like candlesticks that weren't necessarily made to be Shabbat candlesticks, and using them in the Judaica, converting them, so to speak, by using them in the Jewish boxes. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Yeah, about that, and taking items that aren't necessarily Judaica and bringing them to become Judaica. Right.
And it took me years of rabbiing
Okay.
to realize it's not that the cup has an inherent holiness.
Right.
It's that I put the holiness in the cup.
Okay.
And so I'm married to a wonderful guy, really nice guy, and he's a Jew by choice. He's a righteous Jew, righteous convert. And it's like when he was 28, it wasn't on his plate to get Jewish. And he had such a Jewish neshama and such a Jewish heart, and he gives so much. He has so much hope, and that's what Judaica is. That's what Jewish is. It's the hope that this is right and it's going to carry on, and we're going to make the world a better place. So just because the candlestick, which comes from India and probably wasn't headed to a Shabbos table, I know that this candlestick, that is real heart and soul, was created, and it's saying, come on and chew me, chew me, chew me. And I found it, and I bought it for 49 cents, and it is a full-fledged Jew candlestick.
Yes.
But a Jewish candlestick.
It's such an interesting concept, I think, especially in, this series where we're kind of talking about Judaica in all of its iterations, and talking about Jewish art, and talking about the idea that things becoming Judaica.
As you become more Jewish, all your stuff becomes more Jewish with you.
Yeah, it's really, I think that I know that's something that I'm going to return to as we're moving through this series, definitely. This is a brief aside, but I know that you are a Judaica and an art collector, and I know that you know a lot about what
Don't take that off.
okay. I know that you know a lot about
I'm gonna interrupt
yeah.
because this is relevant. Everything that I give for my Jewish boxes
Yeah.
for my students,
Yeah.
I leave the price tags on all of them
Okay. Why?
because in fine art,
Yeah,
you never take the price off.
that's true.
So, and this is the finest artistic expression of Judaica I will ever give that person. If it's only 49 cents, elevate it.
Right. That's
Yeah.
really excellent. I really like that as well.
These are the things we talk about on Shabbat
Yeah.
and going around.
So I was gonna say that this menorah looks to me like it could be a mid to even late 20th century like Taiwanese product, but I see that it is made in Israel. Do you have a guess as to the age of this?
Probably late 50s through the 70s.
Okay, and that tracks with the birthday candle size.
These
You
were
don't
all
see
souvenirs.
birthday
I don't
candle
mean to interrupt.
size.
These were all souvenirs.
Right,
And Israel was
Right.
young when it was coming out with these souvenirs.
Right.
It didn't know. It
Right.
tried everything.
right,
And you couldn't buy that outside of Israel.
right,
And if a grandparent, and you couldn't get to Israel.
right,
Getting to Israel
Right.
until the late 50s was very expensive.
right,
So what kind of souvenir gift? Well, you want things for men and
Right.
women for Shabbat in the house,
right,
but you want to bring your grandchild something.
right,
Well, look,
Right.
David, I brought you this. I bought it myself at the shuk, and it's just his size for
Right.
his little hand.
right, absolutely. And I know that this is something we'll talk about again because you have an amazing menorah collection,
Yeah.
but also a really specific collection of mid to late
Yeah.
20th century Israeli brass work with the kind of the colored
Brass.
the brass, yeah, with the but then with
Veneer.
paint, yeah, with a
The
colored
green patina.
veneers, yeah.
The green patina.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I know we'll talk about that
I love it.
and during another session, and I'm really excited for that because it's a fascinating topic. So these are like
From India.
from India, probably late 20th century. I mean, they could be from the 90s or even later. What is this?
This is my good Kiddush cup because I needed a Kiddush cup. Everything else I put in the Jewish box,
Okay.
but I forgot to get the Kiddush cup at the office this
Right.
morning, so I didn't bring one. But this is the finest example of Moroccan silver work, and that wouldn't
Okay.
go in the Jewish box unless it was to one of the kids, my
Okay.
children.
And this was a wedding gift to
It's
you,
from my
right?
dad.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's contemporary.
Okay.
It's made in Israel, and it's a dying art that
Right.
hopefully will have a renaissance. But it was made by a 97-year-old
Right.
artist from Morocco, silver artist, which is amazing because they don't wear glasses and they can just do it all.
Yeah.
It's part of a set, and every
Right.
piece of Jewish art can be made with this kind of technique.
That's amazing.
It is.
So this is, I mean, the concept of your Jewish Box Project and the idea that there are young people that, might not already have a set of Judaica like this and needs it to explore their own ritual practice and stuff. Are you aware of other projects like this?
No.
That's
I
really
was
interesting.
I'm really interested in the phenomena of Jewish right now.
Right.
Like, so I get a lot of young ladies
Okay.
who are from intermarried parents.
Okay.
The mother is Jewish.
Okay.
The mother and the child go to Chabad.
Okay.
Chabad doesn't do bat mitzvahs where the daughters are called up to Torah.
Okay.
So I have a disproportionately high amount of young ladies who've never seen Torah And they'll come, like another thing I collect is the yads. I have a Torah. And
Right.
for the Hereld House.
Right.
And I named it Orchid.
Beautiful.
And it's in my basement where my dehumidifier is.
Right, sure.
So that's what I bring out for Yantif. And I have yads. I have a collection of yads.
Okay.
And the girls will go, but Rabbi, I've never been up to Torah. And I'll say, well, now you are. And they come up and they say the brachot. And, there's no way to have practice because I don't necessarily assign aliyot, because if I assign them, the students will say no because they don't think they know enough.
Sure.
And they'll say, but I don't know the Hebrew. And I'll say, it's okay. Hashem, God is bilingual. And they read the English or the transliteration. So it's been through those different venues that I've really come to see that the next generation of prominent quote liberal Jews is from a really, really different environment than I think we've ever prepared for.
Right.
And I'm very out about it because if I'm closed-lipped about it, they don't know what to bring up.
Right. That's I mean, I think this is how we're starting this conversation because we're really touching on so much that I think that I'm sure we will return to later in kind of the other programs in this series. And it's just a wonderful place to start.
Whatever we go back to is
so we had mentioned that we wanted to bring this up, but the importance of kind of supporting Jewish artists and Jewish craftspeople, and how that kind of intersects with, Judaica in general, but also like this project. And I guess and I know you're an art collector, you collect Jewish art and Judaica especially. Could you just touch on a little bit, the importance of supporting Jewish artists, and this is something that obviously we're going to talk about later in the series as well.
So there's one, I just love art. I just think, I'm speechless and I'm seldom speechless, but I think the Judaic art, it's so seeing a renaissance since Israel has come into its own. The art school of Bezalel, which is one of my best finds when I'll go find something from the art school of Bezalel.
Okay, interesting.
Is thriving.
Okay.
All over the diaspora where Jews are really comfortable in their Jewish and their Yiddishkeit. It's blown up. It's huge, beautiful. It validates the art that it stems from the earlier times. And I think if we don't support it as living Jewish consumers, it will cease to exist. I think we as Jews have to support our Jewish artists because they need us and they make us better Jews. The way they internalize the concept of mitzvah, of like how do you make the most beautiful Jewish prayer if you express yourself through your art, but your art isn't validated by the Judah? We got to do it. Absolutely. We got to do it. Like we have a local artist, the one who makes the Torah schools, Kuban Orange.
Yes.
She has elevated Jewish needlepoint, Jewish fabric arts. Before her, you didn't see such magnificent Torah covers or kippot. Or she's wonderful. She's great, and she's local.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's really cool to have her, to see her stuff being so appreciated, and to know the influence when you go to some synagogues or some universities and see an artist who comes after her. You can just see the art influence. And like art is an expression of the truest part of one's soul, without words, without movement. It's there. It just makes everything better. Like hot pepper.
That's absolutely.
That's on your meal, and
that is a really great introduction to the artists we're going to talk to later in the series as well, and start to think about the value of Jewish art and Jewish crafters. So I think we're talking about how you source material for this project and how many boxes you do in a year and stuff. So do you have enough
No.
material to continue this
And
project?
I'm thinking this through because of our just when we got together
Yeah.
as the Jewish community
Yeah.
all over the world
Yeah.
is aging and passing, and we're not renewing our numbers. There isn't as much out there. I hadn't thought about it until this year
Okay.
when I had so many kids, and there was no way. I can't afford to buy new pieces, and I
Right.
don't think new pieces are necessarily where it's at. It's not a story in the box.
Right.
And no, I don't. I found really beautiful old Jewish stuff in Austin, Texas, in a Goodwill.
Okay, cool.
Bought all of that. I buy anything I can find, and I'll figure a way to repurpose it for the box.
Okay.
I buy as many books as I can that are relevant,
Right.
but with the library.
Right, we're gonna
going
help you out with
is-
the books.
No, I don't mean
Okay,
it
yeah.
that way.
Oh.
Kids don't read.
Oh, the
books.
kids don't read? Oh, yeah.
They don't, when I was growing up, it was a source of pride and joy for me to see my library, and it still is. But now the kids don't decorate their life, most of the students don't decorate their life with the books.
Okay.
So it's really different.
Yeah.
And there's not much. So yes, this is a pitch. Please,
Right.
if you have any Judaica that you don't know where to put it or what to do with it, we'll take it. I'll repurpose it, and it will be loved.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, as part of, the Jewish Historical Society and the Hereld House's Judaica Project, we want to help support Rabbi Judd's Jewish Box Project. And if you have Judaica that you're parting with, that you find in a thrift store, or, is otherwise abandoned, please do email Rabbi Judd or me, and we'll make sure that we get it to the right person. And her email address is reena.judd@quinnipiac.edu. And you can also call her at 203-623-0626. So she can help find the best new home for these items, both
Nothing is ever declared.
Judaica and not yet Judaica.
It's a no-kill shelter.
There you go. And we'll make sure to send out her contact information afterwards as well, of course. So do you have any other thoughts before we open up to people's questions or thoughts?
No.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. And now I will open the floor. If the audience has any questions or comments.